So you can see there the cars on the grid for the TGR Roadsports Series. It's 45-minute race for these production sports and saloons. And let's take a look at this big 40-plus car grid. On pole position is number 1, which is the Volkswagen Golf, which will be started by Bradley Burns, who he shares with Rob Baker. Alongside 169 will be Andy Schulz, who shares the BMW M3 with Matthew Hampson. On row 2 is 187, which will be Aaron Cook to start the Audi RS3 that he shares with Dan Sylvester, who we saw out earlier. Alongside number 6, Ryan Parkin in the Audi TT. It's 45 minutes, it's round 4 of the TGR Roadsports Series. It's a rolling start, the red lights are on, the lights go on, the cars accelerate up towards Ritchie's corner. And it's a very good start from a couple of cars further back. Ian Jones in that BMW Compact using the pit exit to gain positions. He started, 7th, and is about 4th as they turned into Ritchie's corner. It got very, very busy there. Somehow that group managed to get through the corner okay. There's the Mike Rayner car who will start from the pit lane. Hopefully he didn't drive through red lights. As the cars make their way down here towards the Wilson hairpin then, and it's 2 and 3 abreast in the mid-pack. But somehow we got through that first corner okay, and we'll see who comes out as the race leader. Well, it is number 1, Bradley Burns at least. 2nd is Schultz. 3rd is Ian Jones. A mighty start.
It's quite extraordinary. Ian Jones, who started on P7, so the 4th row of the grid, in that car with the BMW stripes over it. He tucks back in behind Schultz in the orange car. There's the first of the Audis, the TT, is next up. Down the order, there's changes of plenty. Once the Lotus is wriggling through, little is it a Nova or a Corsa, isn't it? That's passing well above its weight.
Ahead of a factory-built Seat, I think.
Absolutely.
Ian Jones has got a 3.2 litre M3 engine, but otherwise it's basically a BMW Compact, which is highly developed and goes really well with Ian at the wheel of it.
It's got big straight 6 plenty of torque.
Probably lighter as well than some of the other cars.
Liveried BMW down there.
Yeah, that's Australian David Griffin, whose car's liveried up as the Bathurst cars.
West Suffolk Motorsport.
So there's Schulz then. So Bradley Burns out front, returning to racing. He's only 22. The driver from Surrey, who was a race winner in the Clio Cup 5 years ago now. So he leads. In 2nd place is Andy Schulz, the Brick car race winner. There's 61, that's the winner from last time out, Dylan Brichter, in his Audi TT. That's the petrol engine car. There's a diesel engine TDI of Ryan Parkin a bit further up the order, I think in 4th position, just ahead of the RS3, which is driven by ex-MR2 champion Aaron Cook. A big move up the inside there for the car that will shovel one of the others off the circuit.
Yeah, that sent the TT off. The black and red TT was out over the grass. We've got 3 abreast with the VX Vauxhall one side, Seat on the inside.
That's
fantastic.
That's the ex-Colin Blower British GT car, the Vauxhall.
The Vauxhall VX220.
Yeah, and it was the Seat that was in there was the one that had the big bold move that didn't really work out on Murray. That's Colin Gillespie. But yeah, 118 we didn't get a start driver for. Simon Morga and Justin Middleton shared that. There it is, the ex-Colin Blower car. Colin, who was a real mainstay in British motorsport in the 90s and 2000s as well. Into the pit lane. I think this might be one of our relay cars. I think 175, which is the Paul Gaines and Callum Perfect BMW. And that's a relay car, and that's why that's in the pits.
The core motorsport.
So there's this battle. A big clump of cars, really, isn't it, rather than battle as such. Involved in that is Chris Mills and his E36 M3. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, if you're watching along at home, you can be able to pick out your favourites. Showing how competitive this is, there are 4 classes. The top 14 cars are all Class A cars, so there's a lot of top-class cars on this grid, the most powerful machines. Leading Class B is Scott Parkin, the Club Enduro Championship leader, so we'll see more of him tomorrow in his Volkswagen Golf. The Class C leader, I think, is 199, a bit further back, which is Rob Jarman. And the Class D leader is 175, Paul Kane from the relayed BMW. We'll keep an eye on the classes as the race goes on. But here are the out of a second. There's Ian Jones in that mighty Compact that has been developed by his co-driver Martin Gadsby. Martin, I think I would admit, is not as quick as Ian, so Ian Jones trying to make the most of it early on.
Down in 13th place in the 61 Grand Prix.
He was the one, I think, that got shoveled off at Murray's at the end of the first lap by Driver, I think. So we'll see how that goes. Ian Jones is back challenging for 2nd place there, and Andy Schulz should have a similar engine, I guess, in that E46 M3, but Ian Jones is challenging in towards Rich. He's a bold challenge which didn't come off. Bradley Burns now leads by a couple of seconds and immediately has set a new lap record. A 2-minute 3.52 is a new lap record for that Volkswagen Golf that leads, a car that was developed this year by Area Motorsport. We've seen those cars in Class B before. They've basically put a bigger turbocharger on it, and now it's a Class A car with lots of power. And Brad Burns, who I think drove this car for the first time at Spa a few weeks ago, part of Club Enduro, the car broke in qualifying, I think. So he's doing really well in this car that he's not terribly familiar with. Number 46 is another Volkswagen Golf out there. That is the car of Jack Wright, who, with his brother George, they've been racing with the 750 Motor Club for the first time this year. Just ahead of the Chris Mills BMW, and local man Lloyd Chafer in there as well in 67, the driver from Dis in his 1997 BMW M3, also involved in this nice battle that's going on. There's so many battles out there, Marcus.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the 46 Golf. That's the white car, isn't it?
Yeah, they're in 11th.
Yeah. Nicely turned out in the air supply cup. Positioned with air supply. With the product of BMW's chasing these big winged M3s, very plentiful. Club racing very difficult in among those. Australian, based over here for a while now. That's the brick there. That's the parking.
Yeah.
Parking seats.
Yeah, they look similar. I think one's a diesel powered, which is the parking car, because Darkside Developments, who are the parkings basically, are diesel experts. So they've converted that car from a petrol car, which Richter is in basically. And there's the other parking we briefly saw, 89, that leads Class B. So there is Richter. How is he getting on? He was 12th at the end of the previous lap. He's got past David Harvey on the right. So I think he's into the top 10 now, Dylan Richter. Everybody is being asked to respect track limits by our clerk of the course, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Burns' second flying lap is about half a second slower than his first one, but he's still about half a second quicker than the cars behind. Ryan Parkin, though, there's his twin brother Scott, the Class B leader. Ryan Parkin is going quicker than the two cars in front, so there's a chase on a bit further up the order, but there is our Class B leader, as I say, Scott Parkin, the 33-year-old from South Yorkshire. He's only been racing for a few seasons. He's had a really good year. He leads the Club Enduro Championship, which will be racing here tomorrow in that diesel-powered car, which produces 270 brake horsepower. It's a 2010 car, and he is in 16th position overall, just ahead of the Ginetta by, well, say just ahead, but it's 5.5 seconds already. The car that was started by Matthew Tidmarsh. This is a bit further up the order, just outside the top 10, I think. Here, some of the classes a bit further back. Leading Class C is the number 199 Clio, Robert Quantrell and Rob Jarman's car. And then I think here we see some of the Class D cars as well. And that BMW is the leader of the Class D class, 175, the Paul Haynes and Callum Perfect shared machine.
Parkin, see that last lap was the best. It was only quarter of a second outside Simon Burns set earlier in the race.
Second, third and fourth all together coming through Coram. We'll see if we can pick up on that in a minute, because Andy Schultz, Ian Jones and Ryan Parkin all together. Meanwhile, twin driver Scott is up at the S's at Brundle and Nelson, still leading Class B. Let's have a look at the leaders then as they come across the line. There's Bradley Burns. He's a couple or 3 seconds ahead of Andy Schultz, who's second, but then Ian Jones in third. Under pressure now from Ryan Parkin, but Jones has got so much straight line speed. That BMW Compact is rapid and therefore closes in down the centre straight to the P2 man, Andy Schultz. All of these are lapping in the fours. Personal best for Schultz and for Jones, but it's Ryan Parkin who seems a bit quicker at this stage, Marcus. They're in fourth.
Yeah, only fractionally quicker, a couple of tenths, I guess, something like that, but he's going to be into the slipstream in a second. That very imposing looking work-striped compact in front, looks to split that big wing on the right. And there's Andy Schultz in the Talk Speed car ahead of them.
Yeah, but the TT's quicker in the corners, and that compact is so quick in a straight line. The class is based on power to weight ratio, so you can have more power, but that does mean you've got to have a heavier car.
A the brake on it that way, BMW, though, isn't it? Sort of very nose down. Very well.
I think talking to Ian Jones in the past, it's not the easiest car to drive.
It's a bit of a monster. It's quite savage.
There's Schulz ahead, 3 seconds behind the leader now, into Williams. It's not been very much longer before they get into lap traffic as well, and that is when sort of endurance races come alive, Mark. Working your way through the traffic is just as important as being quick.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about being consistent, being courteous, and trying to get your exit speeds out of corners where possible. Honda there had a bit of a lock up. And a bit of Porsche, Lotus battling in there, Porsche as well. This is fantastic. You wouldn't expect to see these type of cars in a mix altogether.
Yeah, the older Civic, that's driven by Jack Ashton, who's getting there, he's sideways. It's in Will Murphy's car. We see him out in his Metro later in Hot Hatch. But Jack Ashton making his debut in this car and in this series. He's in 20th. He's got Johnny Monday's Honda Civic, the newer car there, number 14 just ahead. Then the Corsa's just lost out to the Lotus, so that's Matthias Radstock's Lotus Elise that gets ahead of James Birch, who's in the Vauxhall Corsa. We've had a change for second across the line. There's been a change for second overall across the line. There they are. Ian Jones has used the power of the compact to get ahead of the E46 M3 that's got a little bit of loose bodywork for Andy Schulz. But up front, Bradley Burns has just set another fastest lap and another lap record, 2:03.47. Schulz though fights back on the inside of Jones, can't get the position though. And as this battle develops, the car in 5th position is starting to catch, I think. That is Aaron Cook, the ex-MR2 champion, who's in the Audi RS3. But for 3rd position, Ryan Parkin looking to the inside of Andy Schulz. Can't get that, but it shows you, Marcus, that the straight line speed of that compact, Ian Jones is able to use it to get that position.
Yeah, he is, and it's a really fine-looking trio, isn't it? The two BMWs and the Audi TT, and there's kind of Advan Yokohama Formula 3 team colours of Europe.
It's great to have Audi TTs in this category as well. There's a couple of race cars for Kuhn nowadays as well. Otherwise, I don't see many of those machines out there. And then to have this BMW compact that's a real work from in the garage to build it up, and what racing over the years has been all about producing cars and building them from something not very quick at all to be into a real racer.
Yeah, taking something fairly unpromising and making it into a decent racer.
So that was the battle of the second, but because of that battle, Bradley Burns is now 5 seconds ahead, so he's continuing to pull away. He kind of needs to because of this pit stop penalty. I think most of that front group do have a similar penalty. The first car without a pit stop penalty is the car in 5th. So the Cook and Sylvester car that doesn't have any success or penalties for the gearbox does have an advantage there in the pit window, which will open in just under 3 minutes' time. So we'll have to see how that all works out. There is Bradley Burns. He's already lapping a couple of cars, including the Nissan Almera, which is in a
very unusual race car.
Absolutely, that was a class winner last time out of Brands. It's in the old Super Touring Nissan livery, the Cogswell brothers. There's another fastest lap for the leader, a 2:03.05 now for Bradley Burns. That's also now pretty much on par with the club enduro lap record, important for tomorrow. Big battle up towards Ritchie's because this is Dylan Brichter getting through the order. He's going past both the Vauxhall VX220 and the Seat, so that is Brichter up to 8th position. So it's been, what was he, 13th, something like that at the end of the first lap after that
13th,
off.
yeah.
So it's been a pretty good recovery since then. He's got a bigger gap to catch after this. There's that Vauxhall VX220 that I was talking about earlier, that would have raced in British GT probably nearly 20 years ago now. The car that was built by the Colin Blower Motorsport team originally, but Simon Morga, I think, owns it now. It's quite nice to get out in club racing. Sort of that era of British GT where they had all sorts of one-off specials. It'd be good to get some more of them out in a series like this, which they can now come back to life. Something you can't do nowadays in GT racing is build your own car, because everything's already done for you by factory teams. But in a club racing series like this, it's encouraged to bring out anything you can get your hands on, and it's shown really well in this category, as Marcus has been saying, with all these different types of car you wouldn't expect to be battling. There is Colin Gillespie, who is in 10th. No guesses where he's from. So he'll be out tomorrow with Phil Driver. He drives solo today. Pit window open board is being prepared by our start line marshals here at Snet. One car there across the line all lonely, which is quite unusual. That was Ben McCauley, the paramedic from West Sussex, who's in quite a long way down the order today, Ben. 31st position. I think that just shows you how this series has changed with much quicker cars than perhaps what we've seen recently. Here's about of a second, and Ian Jones is pulling clear now.
There's some big speed differentials now, aren't there, between the quickest cars and some of the back markers.
Always makes me wonder how much fun it is to be in one of the slower cars, especially when you've got big groups of cars coming past you like that. Burns is now 7.6 seconds ahead of Ian Jones, so he's now far enough ahead, I think, of the rest that the pit stop penalty that car has won't matter. And you can see the pit open board is out, so we are now a third of the way into the race, and it'll be interesting to see how quickly we see pit stops come. Looking at Palmer on our Alpha Live coverage. Now at Agostini in that battle for third position to Andy Schulz, who started second. He's dropped behind Ian Jones and fallen away from him, and now he's got Ryan Parkin for company in that Audi TT, which has a TDI engine now, Marcus.
Had to switch his attention, hasn't he, at watching TT, the big wing up off its boot lid.
The Audi, a front-wheel drive car, as is of course the Golf up front, a nice mixture of both front and rear wheel drive machines.
Yes, there are parts of the circuit that suit each of the types of the car.
The slower car there to lap, which is the 52 Mazda of Stephen Docker, so he's going to have this battle coming past him pretty soon. Andy Schulz turns his lights on as he comes out of Nelson to let the driver of the slower car know, because Coram, the driver knows, indicates left. That was good driving.
Schulz is having to bore the hole through past these slower cars, and it's really comfortless market. Fourth place, TT, this car just follows through, doesn't do too much of the work, just making sure he's going to keep his head down and do the chasing.
2017 car, that Audi, so a pretty new machine, much newer than the BMW ahead. Nearly 8 seconds is Bradley Burns' lead in one, then 117 is second is Jones, third is 169 Schulz, fourth is 6 Parkin, fifth 187 Cook, and sixth, the car we haven't spoke about really, number 92, that is Phil Knibb, who's come through from the 5th row of the grid from 9th, so he's had a pretty decent run. As they make their way then through what is lap 9 of the race, and it is still Bradley Burns that leads the way in the Volkswagen. So with 27.5 minutes to go, the leaders work in lap 9 of the race. The odd car out there has found nobody to race with, but that's a pretty rare occasion. There's number 8. That is the Ginetta G40 of Matthew Tidmarsh, which has now got a Ford Duratec engine in it, so a much upgraded Ginetta. And that's a car which was owned by Roald Goethe, the Rothko collector. Yeah, and apparently I think it's Ollie, the younger son, tested it a few times, and they decided they didn't want to do Ginetta Juniors and do single-seaters. The Honda Civic goes off 74, that's Campbell Cassidy, and Chris Webster, who shares that car with Matthew Tidmarsh, is a mate of Stuart Hall, and so he asked if they could buy it. In fact, it took a bit of convincing, and Roald Goethe, I think, realised he didn't need a Ginetta in his collection.
Not when it's for the Porsches and McLarens and that's a kid with Golf heritage. There's that battle continuing between Schulz and Ryan Parkin. Tucked in Ryan Schulz. David Harvey's 340 RC Charge car still going strongly. That is number 41, that's 11th place. See Dave Griffin carving his way through in this Diet Code Tribute livery car. Three.
First pit stopper that we can see is Josh Lawton. He was in the front order in 10. He was, I think, in like 7th position. He's in a Honda Civic, a car which I think has the 2.4 litre K24 engine. Josh is 26 years of age from East Yorkshire. He competed in this car in Time Attack, then moved to circuit racing last year. It's a 1994 car with a supercharged engine. It's a car that he's prepared from a bare rotten shell, so that's had some work on it since then, but it's really quick, and he's a front runner in this category. There's Matt Creed, who started from the back of the grid in 23, and he has worked his way up into 27th position and the lead of Class C. He's just got past the Clio, the older car, and he now leads Class C, so a fantastic effort there from the back of the grid from Matt Creed.
It's a great BMW tussle here with Dave Griffin back of them.
You've got Lloyd Chafer ahead, the local driver, then ahead of him is I think Dave Gardiner, and that's about for 12th, 13th and 14th positions. So quick drivers in that group, isn't that? But I think that just shows you how quick this grid is at Snetterton today. A Renault potentially overheating. Down in the pit lane is one of the 182s. That's smart mechanic to turn it off. Oh, it's a big off that the Mills and Gardner car was the front of that group out of Williams line, so they won't be at the front of the group anymore.
No, and he's managed to claw his way back onto the circuit again, but dropped him behind the others. This pair still at it, with Dave Griffin understeers across onto the curb on the coming out on the outs onto the coming into Cora. Dave Griffin hanging on there.
Yes, we managed to get ahead of Lloyd Chafer, so he passed the Gardner car because he'd gone off, or Chris Mills I think it was, he started, and then he managed to get past Lloyd Chafer in all of that as well. So we gained 2 positions basically in a short amount of time. A few more pit stoppers, but not necessarily those from the front group as we head towards half distance in this race. So there's the Bright Golf in 11th. It's 12th now for Dave Griffin, being chased by Lloyd Chafer in this 1997 car. Sort of hard to believe that those cars are 25 years old now.
It is quite extraordinary because they look so fresh still. 23 minutes to go.
The third race. This is Shaw still under pressure from Ryan Parker. It's as close as it was when we last saw them.
Parking with that much lower line car behind.
Ian Jones is only a couple of seconds up the road. So now they're 10 seconds behind Brad Burns, the leader in the Golf.
Brad Burns with Bob Baker waiting on the wings to take over.
As Jack Ashton damaged his mate's car in his Colton in Will Merkin Civic, and he's taped it up and said you're good to go, I think. So Will Merkin will be about to get out for the circuit. Ryan Parkin goes right round the outside of Andy Shaw's at Coram curve into Murray's. A very bold move. Can he get the car stopped though through Murray's? No, he can't. That's the problem at that part of the circuit, isn't it? You think you've got the grip on the outside, and then you quickly run out before you get to that braking zone. So back into what is now second, I think. Oh no, second, because Ian Jones must have pitted ahead of them, I think. So Martin Gadsby will get a go in his car. So Schul's still second, Ryan, or what is now second, Parkin's third. They're now 13 seconds behind race leader Bradley Burns. They're pulled quite a long way clear though of Aaron Cook. As there we can see Ian Jones out of the BMW Compact, and Martin Gadsby, the car owner, about to get into it. Traditionally, Martin has been a couple of 3 seconds slower than Ian Jones, so we'll see how he gets on. I think just in the seats as well. It's quite always a rushed part of the race, isn't it, after changing drivers?
You can lose so many seconds. The belt buckle disappears under the driver or under the seat or whatever. It's going slowly, isn't it? 777.
Yeah, that was running 16th. Robert Andrade, whose birthday a couple of weeks ago, 49 years of age now, the company director from Wolverhampton. another ex-Time Attack racer. He's driving a car that had raced in TCR UK in the past by Bruce Winfield, one of the front runners, which can also be seen here on Alpha Live. But Robert Andrade into the pit lane, problem seemingly with that car. There's Josh Lawson, who was the first of the pit stoppers. We saw briefly there, Dawn Murphy in his Honda Civic, the ex-Hot Hatch racer, back out with the 750 Motor Club this weekend, sharing that car with Jack Ashton. But Parkin's got Schulz this time, so he tried a lap ago, but he's passed him this time. So that's Brian Parkin finally up ahead into what should become second place. There's that Sayat, which is now being prepared by MT Development. That's Matty Taylor, who raced the Holden last year in Club Enduro. There's 72 in the pits. That's John Maudsley, another very experienced driver. Special saloons in John's past.
Also, raced Formula 1.
But an Audi TT today, John, which is the car's first out in the car that is prepared by Capture Motorsport. Who also runs Sayats. Yes, yeah, they've had some Volkswagen Siroccos as well, I think. But he's added another car to the list. So still got 4 minutes to pit window to go. Andy Schulz has come in now, I think, to hand over to Matthew Hampson. A busy queue of cars leaving the pit lane. 92 also in, which would run in the front runner. So Phil Nibb will hand over to Andrew Raff.
And I'll be up to 6th in the 41, but get to stop.
Goes well, that car, doesn't it? Like you say, it's had a few prangs this year.
A couple of bingles this season.
I think David Harvey had his first outing with the 750 Motor Club last time out, because we had a Brands Hatch Grand Prix round, which is a circuit everyone wants to do, and obviously enjoyed his time with the 750 Motor Club and has come out again. Here at Snetterton, there's 69, so that's Matthew Hampson taking over from Andy Schulz. There's Dave Griffin in that Diet Coke liveried car that Marcus was talking about earlier. Dave seems to do a few more outings nowadays with the 750 Motor Club as well. As you see, they pit at a 45-degree angle and then be pushed out by their crew, and then will accelerate back into the race. Thank you. And Matthew Hampson not got back going, it would seem. So potentially problems for one of our initial front runners. But he's got back going now, so 169, Matthew Hampson back into the race eventually, but potentially a slower pit stop there for that car. But here's our Class B leader, Scott Parkin, who still leads the class, and he has won this class I think this season. Yeah, he won at Croft and at Anglesey as well. In Class B, there's David Harvey, that Lotus 340R. That we were talking about earlier. A very rare car, especially in racing trim. But you've been racing this car for a long time, haven't you?
Yes, we have, a few seasons now.
You need to this time. Lap you will when it closes in 15 minutes to go. So I think that's where David Harvey disappeared off to into the pits. Bradley Burns led by 13 seconds over Ryan Parkin. So Burns will be in to hand over to Rob Baker, the team boss. Ryan Parkin will stay in the car. They both have actually for Parkin he has a 15-second pit stop penalty where it's just 10 for Burns. So that leaves out. If anything will go out during the course of the pit stops. Yes, I can't remember which, because I wrote down the next one. But I think Parkin is 5 plus 10, and then Burns is 10 for both gearbox, sequential gearbox penalties basically, plus with 5 seconds for the success. Yeah, he'd come out, I think, he'd come straight back in. that car on the grid in full Vauxhall livery, the race winning period. There's 52 again, it's Stephen Docker, the 36-year-old mechanic from Warwickshire. And he's in his 2011 Mazda MX-5 2-litre engine, which is prepared by Tolman Motorsport.
Not the Tolman Formula 1 team, this is Tolman up Daventry Rugby Way. It's Tolman. Used to run McLarens and GTs, etc. And they've done their work in historics too. Former rally engineer.
So I think the leader in the pits this time. So yeah, this end of the commentary box end of the pit lane, the Baker and Burns pit stop ongoing. Have to remember not to say Baker and Swift because we're so used to saying that over the years. There's Ryan Parkin with the Darkside Developments team. They've got the fan on the front trying to keep the engine cool.
It's a great name for a race team, isn't it? Well, for a company tuning a lot of diesel cars, that's their big thing, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Based up in South Yorkshire, I think, in Barnsley. And the Parkin twins, who haven't been racing for that long, very quick. Black flag for number 72. That's John Maudsley's Audi TT. So that car's going to get a penalty. Here's the Golf then, it's about to go back out. We haven't really seen much of the Golf during the course of this race, but Rob Baker then will be at the wheel of the leading car, who starts lap 15 of the race. So Team Boss heads out in this new car for this season. Car that the team have developed.
Here comes Parkin, next out of the pit lane. Number 6, but
then is Lawton going to be third in the Civic, so he's come through. He made that early pit stop. He can be right behind Ryan Parkin, who's coming out the pit lane, and just behind is the Honda Civic of Josh Lawton, who's made really good progress, Marcus.
Yeah. He's now got a golden opportunity to grab that place.
Look to the inside. I think one of them kicked up the dust out on a tight line through Ritchie's. So Josh Lawton, where was he running in the first part of the race? Much further down the order, something like 7th or 8th. And he's now third. Colin Gillespie's come up to 4th. Dan Sylvester's 5th, who's taken over from Aaron Cook. 6th is the BX 220, Simon Morgan's left in Middleton. Martin Gadsby's dropped to 7th, taken over from Ian Jones. Similarly, Matthew Hampton's dropped to 8th, who's taken over from Andy Schulz. And Andrew Raffy's 9th, and then Dylan Brichter is 10th. So some of that will be pit stop penalties. And if there's smoke probably coming in off of the Vauxhall, yeah, there's the rear of the car, a little bit of smoke emitting. Oh, that's getting a lot more now. Is that an engine, do we think, Marcus?
Well, the engine is smoke, and that's really worrying.
I think there was a bit of a line of fluid on the road as well. He is 6th, so the car was going well, but possibly not going to be going for much longer. And one car's off, potentially on that oil, is the 101 Ginetta of Andy Shepherd. Ex-quad comic racer, I think, from Shepherd. So this is down into Agostini, where I think there might be some fluid down. This is the battle for 13th between George Wright and Lloyd Schaefer. I'm sure that's fluid, isn't it, on the road?
Looks like it's a kind of shiny kind of sheet to it, isn't it? Through Hamilton there. It's getting blacker and blacker around the back of the VX.
He advised to come into the pits, I think. But he's pushing on, which would suggest he may not be coming into the pit lane. No, he's carrying on. This car.
Something with a peak ball under the flag. The cars behind them, they'll have picked up even before they've seen it in some cases. That oil haze in the air kind of permeate the cockpits.
We've got just 11 minutes of the race to go. There's Martin Gadsby, he's 7th. He's lapping in the 2.11s. Ian Jones got into the 4s at one point. but then a similar pace really for Matthew Hampson. So they're both that similar distance away from their more experienced co-drivers. So still in 6th position, the VX220. And it's still going, remarkably. That car,
Of course, it was dropping onto the exhaust manifold. It might look a lot worse than it actually is.
There's discussions between officials and marshals downstairs, so I suspect mechanical flag might be coming out shortly. Battle of a second continues, by the way, between Ryan Parker and Josh Lawton, just 4/10 of a second between them. They are at quorum at the moment. Yeah, that black and orange flag is now going out to the Vauxhall. Battle of a second into the final corner might be one to watch, with Ryan Parker still under pressure from Josh Lawton. Two of the solo-driven cars. They come up across the line with the Honda ahead, so a change to second place. Josh Lawton has gone through in that remarkable car with the head of Ryan Parkin. Meanwhile, the Morgan Middleton Vauxhall comes through. Murray's is a little bit wide over the curb, but doesn't seem to be slowing the car down, whatever the problem is. But he now does receive, you see there on the screen, the black and orange mechanical warning flag, which tells the driver he must come into the pit lane. Dylan Brichter up to 8th now. He's just got past Matthew Hampson. That Audi coming back up the order. In the classes, Class B is being led by Scott Parkin. He's 20 seconds ahead of Johnny Monday. And then Chris Webster is 3rd. In Class C, Matthew Creedley, driver who started from the pit. 2nd is Robert Quantrell. And 3rd, Ben McCauley. And in Class D, it's Ivor Mayers who leads. And 2nd is Paul Keynes and Callum Perfect. And 3rd is Colin Whitehouse.
Ivor Mayers all the way from Coleraine. Tries to the events. Got back-to-back weekends of Brands Hatch and Thruxton. Gone back to Coleraine in the interim.
Yeah, he had to
He
had to miss the Branscorn Prix meeting. Not because he didn't want to go, because his ferry got cancelled at the last minute. They couldn't get betting on another, so I think he was frustrated to miss out on the chance of the Grand Prix circuit of Brands. There's Dylan Brichter, who was off on the first lap, not by choice. He's now on terms with Martin Gadsby in that car that was running 2nd early on in the hands of Ian Jones. There's the similar livery car, Parkin in 3rd, who's now fallen quite a long way behind Josh Lawton, who's going really well in the Civic, and is now 4 seconds ahead of Ryan Parkin. That shows you what home builds can do.
Brings us up to 6th, so second. That's good.
He's sort of come from nowhere in the second half of the race. That's Colin's gone. Yeah, because that would have been the race when he sort of got the car the day before. He offered it the car the day before. Now he's got it in his own livery. So, as you say, Brichter up to 6th. Got Gadsby 7th because the VX220 pits. That's requested to do so. Also into the pits is Matthew Hampson, who was in the top 10, the car that Andy Schultz started. So that's going to promote Andrew Raptaway, 9th for Dave Griffin, and 10th, see there the box on your screens, in 10th position is Chris Mills. So engine cover off, look at the engine bay there of the car. Dripping fluid onto the ground. There's our Class B leader, Scott Parkin. He is in 13th position now, and just under a lap off the leader. Across the line now comes Rob Baker. in the Volkswagen Golf, who completes 18 laps with 3 laps to go. There's our Class D leader, Ivan Maers. Ivan Maers, who's added a rear wing to the car since I last saw it. It's a 2.5 litre BMW compact.
Trevor Yates laid his handbags on.
Ivan Maers is in 32nd overall. As he makes his way down the Bentley Straight. Renamed after Bentley because they tested their Speed 8 here before it won Le Mans in 2003. Not something that happens so much nowadays. Back in the day, Snetterton was quite a famous test bed for Le Mans cars.
Martin's had a better lap. He's back within 2 seconds of Josh Lawson in second place.
So there's another of the BMW compacts, 518, which is Colin Whitehouse. I think we're hearing that the Hampton car had floor damage, I think is what we were being told there. Fuel leak, so apologies. Fuel leak for that car, so that needs to be sorted for tomorrow for Club Enduro. So yeah, about a second then we say, well, that coming down, so that's going to be one to take a look at before the end of the race. No right parking and fight back. Scott Parkin, by the way, the Class B leader, 2:08.81 is his fastest lap, which is 2 seconds underneath the Class B lap record. So that shows you how quickly he is going. Matt Creed, the Class C leader, is on a 2:14.7, which is almost a second underneath his own lap record. So the classes A, B and C lap records have all gone during the course of this race. So the new overall lap record set early on by Bradley Burton, 2:03.05. And there he is, he's turning into the Wilton hairpin, I think for the penultimate time.
Yeah, 19 laps now on the statutes. Rob Baker. 22nd, 22 in fact. Josh Lawson, 10.
Big moment there for the Civic. 14, I think that was Johnny Monday, who was 14th position, had a big look up. I think rear brakes looked up, headed into the hairpin.
Some flashing warning lights at the front of Lawson's Honda as they came across some gaggle of cars down towards.
There's number 48, which is now driven by Jeremy Buckley.
Jeremy Buckley, who raced the junior class back in 1960. Birmingham Printer was moves ago.
So many original from the junior time that racing.
Still comes out occasionally.
There's one of the Clio Cup cars across the line. Now going past Martin Gadsby's BMW in a straight line, so that shouldn't be happening. So I think Gadsby's got a problem. He's still in 8th, but yeah, that was a really slow lap, 2:18. So the driver that is in 8th position in trouble. Yeah, but the car looks slow in a straight line, I think, going across the line. So I wondered if there was a bit more of a problem than just, well, like I say, that time, although slow, isn't terribly slow at this stage. We'll see if he makes it through another lap. Bradley Burns / Rob Baker's Volkswagen Golf will be about to start the final lap of the race. And here he comes, Rob Baker at the wheel now, 3 abreast. He laps a couple of cars, including the car that's in 13th position. Goes a lap down. So there goes Rob Baker then. This is going really well, this Golf this weekend. It's the best I've seen it go. It was a bit of a handful at the beginning of the season. They've dialed the car out now, it would seem.
There's the battle with and Market. Nose to sail and Ryan Market looked on the inside a bit late. He was right into the corner, which was compromised by a slower car.
Let's see if we can pick up on that. We've got our first track limit penalty, 5 seconds to the car in 5th place, 187. Sylvester and Cook car get the 5-second track limit penalty.
And that will, I probably almost half the gap back to Richter, but won't be enough to stay in this.
Yeah, we see Rob Baker turning to Oggies on the opposite side of the circuit. On the opposite side of the barriers, basically, was the man of the second place. So they are still Josh Lawton ahead of Ryan Parkin. That's absolutely right. And Parkin's been working at that gap back down again. Interestingly, Josh Lawton, the only car I think in the top 8, I think, that's not racing tomorrow in Club Enduro. So that's going really well. That car, that Honda Civic, there it is, number 10, just ahead of the 6 Audi. Josh Lawton, 26 years of age, Ryan Parkin, 33. Down the Bentley straight they come for the final time. Running out of options now for Ryan Parkin, if he's going to grab that position, and not much in the way of lap traffic to help him out. Both cars up the curb on the exit.
Switch off, don't they?
And across the line is about to come our race winner. So Rob Baker and Bradley Burns win in the TDIs Roadsports series, and it's the second win for that car. They won at Anglesey a couple of 3 months ago now. For second place, Josh Lawton versus Ryan Parkin, who carried lots of speed through the final corner, but I don't think it's quite enough. The supercharged Honda Civic then is going to take second place, being chased all the way by the diesel Audi TT. Absolutely nose to tail at the checkered flag, the two of them. Quarter of a second is all that separated them. I think we can have a look at our results then of the TDIs Roadsports series here at Snetterton. The winner, number 1, Rob Baker and Bradley Burns in the Volkswagen Golf. Second was 10, Josh Lawton in the Honda Civic. Third for number 6, Ryan Parkin's Audi TT. Fourth for 151, Colin Gillespie's Seat. In fifth was 187, Dan Sylvester and Aaron Cook's Audi.